if he's convicted, Big U faces 20 years for RICO, 30 years for bank fraud, 20 years for the Hobbs Act, 10 years for the Mann Act, tax evasion, 5 years, not paying tax returns, another 1 year. Basically life at his age.
Yeah, because he's 58.
Yeah.
He'll be 59 on the 29th of November. Him and Game share the same birthday. Mm-hmm. So it's easy for me to remember that. He'll be 59 this year. Even on a 20-year, even if he was to get a 20-year situation,
with the
that
feds,
puts him out at 75.
85%.
Put him out at 75.
75.
And he still had, the best case scenario, I thought about it, right? Let's say he was to get everything ran together up under a 20.
Yeah.
And let's say he goes to Nevada, right? Because even on the murder case, they have some things, and then they don't have some things. And even the motive.
I just want to clear up, because multiple people have said this, like, oh, Big U, or the victim had Big U's DNA under his fingernails.
No, that was wrong.
So I just want to address it on Vlad TV. They're saying the DNA was inconclusive for Big U.
It was Tory Lane style.
Right, but definitely,
be.
Definitely not the driver's DNA, but inconclusive on the Big U side. So it could be or it could not be, but that's a reasonable doubt.
Well, the driver from LA to Vegas, they say, was Sylvester Robinson, right? So if you read the paperwork, he stays at the studio. Right now, where the things they have with the reading the indictment paperwork is they have his phone going off at the studio, right? Then they have the witness, which is security guard, stating that he did arrive to the studio, him and Robinson. That's where they say he pulled his gun because he wasn't expecting anybody. That was Marley Marl's studio. Marley Marl's out with a chick at the Aria Hotel. He's on the Strip. He don't think nobody's coming to the studio. He's not there, right? So this is why the security wasn't alerted that somebody was going to show up. So you got the security identified them getting there. Then you got the phone going off. But where it gets a little weird at is you have the time the phone went off, they went to an Airbnb. The Airbnb Ring camera catches Big U and the individual going into the Airbnb. So that creates a timestamp, right? That's the middle. They got the time the phone went off in the Airbnb. It also shows what time they left the Airbnb, and allegedly from that document, it says the victim had his suitcase and everything with him. So what they did was, the next time the phone comes on, it's back at the studio.
Right.
So it's a 48-minute triangle. So what they did was, the time to get from studio to Airbnb, they have that at like 15 minutes, right? So if that's at 15 minutes, if they'd have went straight back to the Airbnb, then you had 30 minutes, right? It's an 18-minute lapse. So what they've done was, they went from studio to Airbnb, where they can see the Airbnb time. And then they went Airbnb to where they found the body, how much time it takes to get there. And then they went from where the body was found back to the studio, where the phone came back on, right? So the Airbnb kind of is in the middle of it, because it kind of like puts everybody somewhere. I think they found whatever they say they found. I don't even think it was on the body. It might have been on the sock or something like that. Whatever they say. It's kind of like how they had Tory Lanez, his case. It could be, could not be. So when you got the security and you got the Ring camera footage, right? That's the kind of like, But you don't know, there's no gun. I don't believe they had a vehicle. You can fight the the DNA, and the motive is a little off, because this song I didn't.
Yeah, the motive was the biggest thing for it, because like, okay, so Big U killed a rapper nobody has ever heard of doing a song nobody will ever hear.
Yeah, but they're playing some song and I'm listening to it, and I don't hear no Me knowing
You say
Big,
you heard the song.
yeah, they played the song.
Oh.
Right, that it's supposed to be, but it like references the big man with the money, something about a 38, but it doesn't really, it's no diss. But even if it was
So
a
it's
diss.
not even a diss song.
No, listen, it's not a diss song. I didn't hear no diss song.
Okay.
Right? And
That's
even
crazy.
if it was a diss, right, I could see Big U lining him up with some of his little homeboys.
Yeah,
Right.
doing it himself?
No, I can
At
see.
age 7 at the time?
That
Ridiculous.
Just did make, and then now they got this weird thing now, which it kind of, I hate to say it, it kind of helps his case, because now the narrative is the victim and Big U's son, and I'm gonna tell you where they got this from. In the indictment, it's a phone call allegedly from Big U to his son, right? And he says, "Don't talk about the murder of RW to nobody." Now, when people hear the son right now, the only son that people's looking at is the one that plays for the NFL, Deion Henley, right? Big U has 3 sons, right? Deion's not a gang member. He doesn't participate in street activity. Nice young man, watch him grow. But this is the part that's getting weird. Now they're saying, well, Big U's motive wasn't the rap song. It was that he found out that the rapper and his son, Deion, were lovers. And he was scared that if this got out, he would be affected in the NFL. Now, it's a few key things. One, there's people that have came out in all sports that it doesn't affect.
Yeah, there was
But 2, let's get to the real part of it. I've been knowing this young man since he's been about 7, 8 years old, right? There's nothing feminine or nothing gay about Deion Henley, right? So I don't know who started that one. Yeah, me and Big U got our problems, we got our issues, but whenever it came down to his children, I've been in situations since we've been at it where I've stepped up to the plate for his children. And you know what? I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Maybe 2022, 2-ish or 2023, in the heart of our beef, my daughter and her mother went to Crenshaw High to the celebrity basketball game. A bunch of people sending me pictures. Yo, Wack, man, you better get some people up there, right? So in the picture, you know what I see? About 8 feet, 5 feet behind them, guess who I see?
Big U?
Big U. And when I seen Big U was that close to him, you know what I knew? They were good. Regardless of what me and him going through, right? They were good. And this at Crenshaw High. This 2022, 2023. Like, people sending me photos like, yo, you better. But once I seen him in the picture in the building, I knew I didn't have to worry about it. Same way with his son, with his middle son, right? He was in the situation, I was in the building. And I made sure his son got home safe. So in this situation, they need to kill that. It's nothing. They said, oh, he wore his jewelry. Hey, it's grown men today that wear other men's jewelry. Watches, chains, medallions, I see it all the time. That doesn't make them to be lovers. If they homies, they homies.
Well, I mean, why would you want to kill your son's boyfriend? What's that going to do? Not make him be gay?
Well,
You'll just find a new boyfriend.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Unless
but see,
it's like a older man molesting a young boy, then I get it. Now,
but
if you say RW was 40 and his son was 12 or 15, then I can see why you might kill that guy. But just as a father,
bro, I know
a regular boyfriend who's the same age as your son, who cares?
I know all his children.
I'm just saying it's all bullshit.
All his children. I know all 3 boys. I know his 2 daughters. His one daughter is like, I think she's older than his oldest boy, vice versa. I know all their characters, all their demeanors. Deion is a total opposite of everybody else. Calm, cool, collective. He ain't got nothing to do with the streets. He's athletic, right? His oldest son is probably the closest thing to being like Big U when it comes to just being quiet and subtle but explosive when he want to be. The middle son was always what I say our headache because he was just the busybody. You get what I'm saying? But none of them have ever displayed any signs of going that route. And it's kind of crazy that since he's in jail that they're saying that. He you know, I believe he led his team in tackles at the Chargers. All he did was work hard his whole life to get to that playing field. It's a sad thing his pops was going through what he's going through, and then that they're even tying him to something that has to do with somebody that was a close friend of his. But it's even more savage for the internet and somebody in the media that probably live in Maine somewhere to come up with this narrative that people right here are really running with, right? People that say that like they cool with Big U, right? Me and Big U got our issues, but when it comes to certain things, especially involving the kids, they not there to be attacked like that, especially under false pretense. That's what's crazy.